He stops at the doorway. Not because the clock says he's late by 9 minutes. Not because 22 seventh graders are already mid-lesson. He stops because a child is shrinking in a chair while a grown-up towers above them, holding a pair of headphones like a trophy someone didn't earn. Put these away. We follow rules here, the teacher says, crisp, measured, a little too loud. The room goes quieter than it was a second ago. Chairs creak. Dry erase squeaks. A pencil rolls and is caught just before it falls. The child, black, slight, eyes glossy with effort, keeps one hand on the edge of the desk and taps a faint rhythm with the other. Tap, 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 tap. Not defiance. A cadence. A map back to calm. On the desk, half hidden beneath a worksheet, a laminated card catches the light, edges dulled by fingerprints, corners rounded by time. Its title is simple, Support Plan, Read First. No one reads it. Eyes up here, the teacher adds, angling the headphones toward the cabinet. No devices during instruction. That includes you. A few kids glance at each other with the small, dangerous smile of people learning who is safe to laugh at. One girl bites her lip and shakes her head the tiniest bit. Another boy, 2 rows back, quietly taps along with the rhythm, matching it, like he's tossing a rope into water for someone learning to swim. Through the narrow glass panel in the door, a silhouette pauses. The principal. He doesn't enter. Not yet. He watches the rhythm. He watches the card that no one is reading. And he keeps watching the teacher who thinks compliance is the same thing as learning. You know the title already. You know what it promises. A teacher humiliates a black disabled student. A principal's reaction shocks everyone. But we are not at the reaction yet. We're at the breath just before. If true stories about dignity and second chances matter to you, hit subscribe. It genuinely helps this channel reach more people who care. CTA number 1. The teacher's name is Mr. Hale. New to the school, not new to teaching. He arrived with a reputation for raising test scores and a briefcase full of color-coded unit plans. He likes rules because rules make sense. He likes silence because silence sounds like control. And lately, with an evaluation week on the calendar and a permanent contract on the line, he has been liking control too much. The student's name is Micah. Micah has a bright, careful mind that gets crowded when rooms are loud, lights are sharp, and instructions pile up without pauses between them. Micah uses an augmentative communication tablet for writing certain responses, and noise-reducing headphones when the hallway bell screams like a metal kettle. Micah is a person first, always, and a set of supports second. It's in the plan. On the card. Laminated because it needs to last. The principal's name is Dr. Rivera. He is the kind of administrator who signs policy memos and then walks the hallways to see what the policies look like as human behavior. 2 months ago he rolled out inclusion training with a promise: we will meet students where they are, with what they need, and we will not confuse fairness with sameness. Not everyone liked it. But he said it anyway. Then he put the words in teacher handbooks and, quietly, on posters. One of those posters is in this room, above the pencil sharpener, partially blocked by an anchor chart about fractions. Accommodations are learning tools. It is observation week. People tend to perform their worst selves when they are trying very hard to be their best. Question 2, Mr. Hale says, moving to the whiteboard. Explain how you would add 3/5 and 1/4. No calculators. No tablets. His gaze flicks to Micah's desk when he says it. Micah's friend, Asha, ponytail, quick eyes, dirt on one shoe that will never come off, glances at the laminated card again. She has read it. She reads everything. The card says. When overwhelmed, Micah taps a 4-4-6 pattern. Match the rhythm and cue the headphones. Wait 15 seconds. Offer the tablet for written response. Don't rush the answer, it will come. On the back is a note from Micah's mother: if the alarm sounds, please allow headphones immediately. Sound trauma. Thank you for your kindness. E. Jordan. Mr. Hale isn't unkind. He thinks he is being fair. He mistakes sane for fair the way a person mistakes a map for the road. He underlines LCD in large letters. We find a common denominator by. He waits. He waits in a way that is not really waiting. Micah, he calls. Eyes here. Micah looks up, but the looking hurts. The room feels like it's buzzing inside the bones, as if someone plugged the light fixtures into a hive. The rhythm returns. Tap, 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 tap. Micah's left hand hovers over the headphones, now on the teacher's desk, and then retreats. Asha murmurs, "Count with me," barely audible. Mr. Hale catches it. "Let's have no side conversations, please." A laugh. Small, sharp. It comes from the back of the room where Riley, who smiles when he's nervous and smiles when he's mean, smiles now because he can. The smile is not about Micah. The smile is about permission. "Riley," Mr. Hale says. "Thank you." We're focused. Dr. Rivera remains a silhouette in the door window. He writes something tiny on a sticky note, 2 numbers and a word. He slides it into his pocket. "Micah, what's the first step?" Mr. Hale's voice softens, as if he is offering mercy instead of a trap he laid himself. Micah opens the mouth to speak and the sound that comes out is smaller than expected, then not at all. The tablet waits on the desk. Micah reaches for it, glances at Mr. Hale, and freezes. "Answer out loud," Mr. Hale says, with an attempt at smile. "Use your voice. We're building confidence." The laminated card says don't force speech as a condition of participation. It says offer the tablet. It says do not humiliate, not in those words, because the district doesn't use that word in formal plans, but that is what it means. Micah's hand drops back to the desk, palm pressing so hard the nails go white. Tap, 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 tap. "Okay," Mr. Hale says to the class at large, "we'll come back." "Asha?" Asha answers in a clear spill of steps, then glances at Micah with a look that is both apology and promise. Later, she will write about this in a notebook she keeps under her mattress where she records tiny injustices alongside bird names and the shapes of clouds. Later, she will find language. Right now, she taps the rhythm on her thigh. The lesson slides forward like a chair dragging over tile. It works, technically. Fractions align. Denominators agree. But the room has split itself into those who are performing and those who are enduring. When the bell slashes the air at the end of the period, 3 kids flinch. Micah flinches hardest. "Headphones," Asha whispers to no one, to the air itself, as if saying the word could make it appear. She looks at the teacher's desk. The headphones are still there. Dr. Rivera doesn't move. The bell stops. The quiet after is thick, like a room that held its breath too long. "Pack up," Mr. Hale says. "If anyone needs help with tonight's practice problems, I'll be after school until 4. Micah stays seated. The laminated card slides closer, caught on the edge of the folder, and shows 2 more lines. If you redirect, use the student's name first. Then the task. Avoid sarcasm. Pair directions with sensory support. It's not rocket science. It's not complicated. It is ordinary care, printed on a card. "Micah," Mr. Hale says, "we'll talk after class." A few kids look, then look away. That particular phrase, "talk after class," means almost nothing and almost everything. Micah's breath shortens. The tapping stops because the hand that was tapping curls into a fist. Asha zips her backpack, moves slowly, waiting for the teacher to look away. When he does, she steps closer to Micah's desk and taps the rhythm on the wood and nods at the headphones. The nod is a question. "Can I?" Micah's eyes flick to Mr. Hale's desk, then to Asha, then down. "No." "Okay, team," Mr. Hale says to the 3 students who always linger, scuttle. "I have a meeting." They leave. The door sighs shut. Only then does Dr. Rivera move. He doesn't come in yet. He turns the little metal knob and the lock clicks open with a small sound that both men hear. "Principal," Mr. Hale says, surprised. He recovers. "Good morning." Dr. Rivera steps in with the careful calm of someone entering a room where a teacup teeters on the table edge. He doesn't look at the teacher first. He looks at the student. "Micah," he says, voice quiet, "do you want your headphones while we talk? Or your tablet to write?" Micah's eyes open wider, shock and relief performing a fast, strange duet. Micah nods. The nod is small, like a bird's. Dr. Rivera picks up the headphones and sets them in front of Micah, not on. Choice is part of support. He sets the tablet next to them. "Thank you," Micah whispers, not because he was told to use his voice, but because sometimes a whisper is a way to say, "I am still here." Mr. Hale clears his throat. "We have a no devices policy during instruction," he says. "We're trying to build independence." "I know the policy," Dr. Rivera says. He nods at the laminated card. "I also know this plan. Did you read it?" A line of color rises in Mr. Hale's neck. "I skimmed." "But," he gestures at the room. "We have to keep expectations high. The other students are watching how adults treat the person who needs something different," Dr. Rivera says, gently. "That's the lesson they'll remember." Micah's hands hover over the tablet, then land. Fingers move. Words form on the screen, slow at first, then sure. The bell hurts. The tapping helps. "May I use the headphones during the next bell? I know the pattern of the day, but if the schedule changes, I need time." Micah hesitates, then adds, "I'm trying." Dr. Rivera reads. He angles the screen so Mr. Hale can read too. The room gets quieter, which had seemed impossible because it was already quiet, but silence has layers. Some kinds of quiet make a person feel alone. This quiet starts to make space. "Micah," Dr. Rivera says, "thank you for telling us what helps. You can take the headphones now, if you want." He waits. Micah nods and puts them on, careful like they might break, careful like they might be taken again. Mr. Hale stares at the laminated card as if the words will reorganize themselves into permission to do it his way. The card does not change. It says what it says. "We have observation this week," he says, as if that were the only sentence that could save him. "I need to show I can manage the room." "Let's talk about managing," Dr. Rivera says. He doesn't sit. He kneels slightly to bring his eyeline lower than Micah's, a quiet correction of power that Mr. Hale notices without knowing he is noticing it. Some management is about making kids quiet. Other management is about making kids safe. Sometimes, those are the same thing. Sometimes, they are very different. "I didn't humiliate," Mr. Hale says, too fast. The word didn't come from Dr. Rivera. It came from Mr. Hale's chest, where it had been knocking. Dr. Rivera doesn't argue. He looks at Micah and asks, "Would you like to go to the calm corner in the library for 5 minutes, or stay here?" Micah types, "Stay." Then, after a pause, "Please." "Okay," Dr. Rivera says. "We'll talk here." He nods at the poster above the pencil sharpener. "Accommodations are learning tools." "Do you believe that?" he asks Mr. Hale. "Yes," Mr. Hale says, out of sequence with the way he has been teaching. "Good," Dr. Rivera says. "Then we'll act like it." Outside, in the hallway, a class moves past. The sound is a shoelace of noise threading under the door. Micah tightens the headphones. "Walk me through your plan for today's lesson," Dr. Rivera says to Mr. Hale. "And then show me where Micah fits, step by step." Mr. Hale talks about common denominators and exit tickets and peer checking. He talks about momentum and pacing and rigor. He is not wrong. He is simply leaving out the student the plan was written for. And when the next bell rings, Dr. Rivera asks. Mr. Hale hesitates. "We keep going." Or, Dr. Rivera says, "We pause. We let the sound pass. We cue the rhythm. We match it." He taps the desk softly. 4, 4, 6. Tap, 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 tap. Micah's breathing changes. The shoulders drop half an inch. Something in Mr. Hale's face loosens, then hardens again. But if I let one student... If you let a student use the tools that let them learn, Dr. Rivera says, then all students learn what fair actually means. He turns the laminated card over. This is not a menu. It's a plan. Micah types again, please don't be mad at me. I want to be good at math. The sentence sits between the three of them like a small, breakable thing. Dr. Rivera picks it up with care. You don't have to be good at being quiet to be good at math, he says. You have to be good at having what you need. The hallway noise swells, another class, louder, a stray shout, a laugh riding high, and then thins. The building has its own pulse. Mr. Hale, Dr. Rivera says, I'm going to observe the next period. Let's reset the room. Headphones accessible. Tablet offered. You'll lead. I'll watch. And we will see if learning improves when we actually follow the plan. Mr. Hale nods, a nod that means I hear the words if not yet I believe them. As they reset, Asha slips back to the doorway, pretending she forgot her water bottle, which she didn't. She sees Micah with the headphones and grins, small, grateful. See you at lunch, she mouths. Micah lifts the tablet and types a single word in big letters, then holds it for her to see. Yes. Asha gives a double tap, tap tap, on the door frame as she leaves. Not the full rhythm. Just a promise. Second period begins. New faces, same desks, the light moved 1 inch across the floor. Mr. Hale greets students at the door the way he's always been told to do, and means it a little more today because someone is watching. He's not sure what is being watched anymore. Maybe that's good. Headphones are here if you need them, he says to the room, pointing to a small bin on the shelf. Remember, tools help us think. Micah looks up quickly and then away, like looking at the sun for a second too long. Warm up, Mr. Hale says. Number 1, identify the least common denominator of 2/3 and 5/6. You have 2 minutes. 2 minutes pass. Micah writes on the tablet, answers clean. Mr. Hale circulates. He says good and keep going and show your thinking. He does not say use your voice. And then the PA system pops. A static cough. A tone. The building holds its breath. A voice, attention, staff and students. This is a drill. The word hits the room like a door slammed in a hallway. Micah's eyes go wide. Hands hover, then cover ears. The tapping starts too fast, slips, restarts. Asha, front row this period, turns in her seat and taps the 4, 4, 6 pattern on the side of her desk, steady, present. Mr. Hale opens his mouth, habit ready to order eyes up here, and stops. He looks at the card. He looks at Micah. He looks at Dr. Rivera. Dr. Rivera doesn't move toward the headphones. He doesn't speak. He just matches the rhythm on the table with 2 fingers, soft, unmistakable. Tap, 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 tap. He nods once at Mr. Hale. Mr. Hale reaches for the headphones on the shelf and places them on Micah's desk, not like a gift, not like a punishment, just like a tool. Here if you want them, he says, and means it. Micah puts them on. The drill tone rises, then falls. Breathing finds the path back. Outside the door, a custodian pushing a broom glances in. He sees the principal tapping a rhythm with 2 fingers. He smiles. He's seen a lot of schools. He knows what this means. The drill ends. The room is not the same room. Number 2, Mr. Hale says, voice even, something new in it. Explain your reasoning. Micah's tablet fills with words. Dr. Rivera writes another tiny note and slides it into his pocket with the first one. He does not leave. Not yet. In the back row, Riley watches all of this and raises his hand. Do we all get to use headphones? He asks, half hoping the answer is yes because he likes how they look, half hoping it's no because he likes a rule that lets him feel like he's winning. You get to use what you need to learn, Mr. Hale says, and Asha looks down fast so you won't see her smile. The clock advances one quiet click. The school breathes. The door window throws a long rectangle of light across the floor, and at its edge, you can see the shadow of a person waiting in the hallway. Not Dr. Rivera. Someone else. Someone who will knock before the end of this period. Someone carrying a folder with a clip of hallway footage that looks worse than it is because context is a thing cameras never catch. But that is later. Right now, a teacher is learning how to wait without turning waiting into harm. A student is learning that asking and being heard are not the same thing as being a problem. A principal is learning, again, that policy lives or dies in the way a single adult chooses to move their hands. Tap, 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 tap. The card is still on the desk. And for the first time all morning, it is open. The knock comes 3 minutes into second period. Not a polite tap. 3 fast knuckles that mean urgent. Mr. Hale freezes with a dry erase marker in the air. Dr. Rivera turns. Micah's eyes dart to the door, then to the headphones, then back to the door. Assistant Principal Klein steps in with a district Chromebook tucked under her arm and a frown that is not aimed at any child. Quick word, she says to Mr. Hale, and then, seeing Dr. Rivera, she adds a second sentence she didn't plan to say, "We should all see this." She angles the screen to the table near the window. The sun makes a rectangle of light there. Dust floats like slow rain. On the retina-level brightness of the laptop, a hallway video clip is paused at the moment a small hand reaches, and a taller hand blocks. Staff lounge chat is passing it around, Klein says, jaw tight. No caption. Just the loop. She presses play. 10 seconds, Micah reaching for headphones during yesterday's passing period. Mr. Hale's hand comes down, firm. Micah's mouth moves, words you can't hear. The frame cuts before Asha steps in, before the card gets slid forward, before anything but reach and block in a face. Loop. 10 seconds again. Loop. Klein exhales. And now we've got commentary. Noncompliance. Making a teacher's life impossible. Where's the backbone? She tilts the screen away like it might burn the room. No one asked what they were looking at. Silence changes shape. The second period's 18 kids feel it even if they can't name it. Children are seismographs for adult weather. Pause independent work, Dr. Rivera says softly to the class. Heads down, 3 breaths. Count with my fingers. He raises his hand where everyone can see. 4, 4, 6. The room follows. Micah follows last and most carefully, like stepping back onto a dock that moved underfoot. When breathing becomes ordinary again, Dr. Rivera nods at Klein. We'll address staff chat later. His eyes rest on Mr. Hale. But we will address care now. Klein's frown eases by a millimeter. She leaves the laptop on the counter and steps back toward the hall. I'll stop the spread, she says. She means, I'll ask 3 people to take it down, and those 3 are the ones who matter. Thank you, Dr. Rivera says. The door closes. The clip stays. Its gravity stays too. Mr. Hale speaks first because the thing he is best at is filling a room with a plan. I was enforcing policy. Devices during instruction. Passing period isn't instruction, Dr. Rivera says, not unkindly. And this is not a device. He touches the headphones gently, the way you touch a tool that can break. This is a bridge. He doesn't look at the clip again. He looks at Micah. Micah's fingers hover over the tablet. Words appear one at a time. I reach when the bell is loud or when air hurts. I was trying to be on time. Mr. Hale's mouth closes on the sentence he was going to say. Asha turns her warm-up over and draws a tiny rectangle in the corner of the paper. She writes context inside it and boxes the word twice. Riley watches everything with the uneasy fascination of someone who senses that the game he has been playing has rules he never read. Dr. Rivera nods. Thank you, Micah. He gestures to the math. Back to thinking. We're building the bridge before we cross the river. He turns to Mr. Hale. Let's teach. The marker squeaks back to life. Mr. Hale narrates least common multiples with an even tone and new pauses planted like flagstones. When he calls on Micah, he offers, not orders, you can write or speak, your choice. He says choice like a word he is testing in his mouth for the first time. Micah writes. The answer is correct and careful and longer than it needed to be, because people who have been interrupted tend to over-explain when they are finally allowed to finish. The period breathes in and out. Somewhere under the floor the HVAC kicks and then quiets. The rectangle of sunlight slides 1 inch. The Chromebook sits with its lid down, and yet the clip is still in the room, the way a smell stays after someone leaves. Between periods, Dr. Rivera asks Mr. Hale and Asha and Micah to stay. He pulls the laminated card closer, like a conductor tapping a baton. 3 things, he says. He holds up 3 fingers. First, the count and breathe belongs to the whole class now. It's a classroom norm. No one has to ask permission to steady themselves. He lets that settle. Second, accommodations aren't a secret. I expect you, he looks at Mr. Hale, to post the supports we use on the sideboard, headphones available, tablet responses okay, quiet signal equals hand to chest. The other students know the rules of kickball, they can know the rules of learning, too. Mr. Hale nods, a small one that keeps its regrets to itself. Third, Dr. Rivera says, tapping the card, this plan is a promise. It outlives meetings and moods. If we break it, we fix it. If we don't understand it, we ask. He turns to Micah. Did I miss anything? Micah thinks longer than most adults would let a person think, and no one hurries to thinking. Then, thank you for not making me choose fast. Noted, Dr. Rivera says, smiling. Choice includes time. Asha lifts a hand. Can we add a peer signal? Like if someone sees someone else getting buzzy, we can tap the rhythm without being told? Dr. Rivera beams at the kind of idea he wished adults suggested first. Co-created norms are the only ones that stick, he says. Yes. Write it on the board. Mr. Hale hands her a marker. The color is purple. She writes peer help equals rhythm tap, for 4, 6, and draws 3 dots that look like soft little planets. Third period brings a different mix of kids and a different mix of noise. Someone has hiccups. Someone's pencil keeps breaking. Someone in the hallway drags a metal music stand and laughs at the screech it makes. The room holds. Halfway through, the front office calls over the speaker for Mr. Hale to send Micah down after class for a quick check-in. No reason given. Everyone hears it. Everyone always hears it. Micah looks at Dr. Rivera. The question is in the eyes, not the mouth. Am I in trouble for the video I didn't know existed? After class I'll walk with you, Dr. Rivera says, like it costs him nothing. It costs him 6 emails, a late start on a report, and a phone call he promised a parent. We don't do a loan for conversations about kids. Mr. Hale nods, a little ashamed he didn't think to offer it first. The rest of third period runs on rails. At the end, the class stacks exit tickets on the corner, some with perfect math, some with honest tries, some with drawings that look suspiciously like little headphones with wings. Library? Asha whispers. Office, Micah types. Then, walk back with me? Asha grins. Obviously. The principal and the student walk side by side down the hall. The floor wax smell is stronger here. The trophy case mirrors their movement in a shimmering, slightly warped way. Dr. Rivera asks nothing and says nothing until they're near the front office, then he says, there is a bench by the ficus that fits 2 people. We'll sit. People will talk to us where we sit. Micah nods. Assistant Principal Klein meets them with the folder she was carrying earlier. It has 3 tabs: incident, plan, training. We got 3 parent emails this morning, she says softly. One supportive, one confused, one angry because she thinks her kid shouldn't have to watch all this. Klein's lips press thin around the unsaid words. We can handle that. What we're not going to handle is rumor. She opens to incident. Inside is a printed still from the hallway clip and a brief typed summary. Passing period, 10:41 a.m., teacher withheld sensory support, student reached, escalation avoided by peer, plan not consulted. It's dry on purpose. Dry keeps meetings from catching fire. Micah looks everywhere but at the picture. You don't have to see it, Dr. Rivera says. You lived it. He signs a line that says received. Klein flips to plan. The laminated card's text is printed there, verbatim, with 2 additional notes in bold. If overwhelmed, student may go to library calm corner without penalty. Peers may model rhythm without being accused of helping too much. Then she flips to training. A roster. Names with check marks. 1 blank circle where a check mark should be. Mr. Hale's name. Left early to take a call, Klein says. Neutral. Documented. Dr. Rivera breathes in through his nose. He does not look triumphant because this is not a gotcha. This is a gap you can cross with a bridge that looks like an adult saying I missed something and I'm learning. We'll cover it, he says. Coaching cycle. Model classroom. He'll sit with Ms. Cho during her inclusion block. Klein nods. I already asked, she said yes. Her mouth quirks. She said, send him with a notebook in humility. Micah types, is Ms. Cho the teacher with fidgets in a basket by the door? She is, Dr. Rivera says. And a sign that says no one earns their way to help, help is the way. He smiles. She ran out of space for the apostrophe once and kept it that way. Micah almost smiles back. Almost. Here's the plan, Klein says, holding up the folder like a map. We document, we coach, we communicate. We do not discipline a child for an adult's mistake. We do not make an apology into a show. In the corner, the ficus drops a leaf. It falls in slow-motion drama and lands on the bench like a period to a sentence no one said. A voice from the inner office calls, send them in. Us, Dr. Rivera corrects gently, and he ushers Micah inside. The quick check-in is not quick. They are asked what happened and what helps, in that order, which is the right order. Micah answers on the tablet and with nods and with pauses that adults honor. Dr. Rivera answers, too, because leaders say the hard part out loud when it is theirs to say. We failed the plan, he says. We will fix it. He doesn't say the teacher. He says we in a way that still locates responsibility exactly where it belongs. Before they leave, the office manager, Ms. Torres, reaches under her desk and pulls out a little basket. Bracelets came in, she says, as if they are a normal office supply like toner or paper clips. Woven soft bands, not rubber. For any classroom that wants a tactile focus tool that isn't noisy. Micah looks at the colors. Blue is on top. Fingers brush the weave. Can Asha have one too? The tablet asks. Take 2, Ms. Torres says. She winks. Friend discount. They walk back through the hall, 2 bands in Micah's pocket. The building hums its midday hum. Somewhere a microwave beeps 3 times. Somewhere a basketball hits a wall thud 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 and stops. Lunch, Dr. Rivera says. Then science. Then we meet with Mr. Hale at 2:10. He doesn't add and if you want me there, I'll be there. He doesn't have to. The offer is the air between them. Micah nods, the small kind of nod that has become this story's quiet chorus. Lunch is loud. Lunch is too loud until Asha slides into the bench across from Micah and aligns everything on the table in straight lines because order is one way some people say I'm with you. She hands over a napkin, 2 corners folded into triangles, 2 corners not. What happened in the office, she asks, then catches herself. You don't have to tell me. Micah types, they had bracelets. Asha laughs once, softly. She holds up her wrist. Me too then. She pulls the blue band onto her hand, struggles, gets it over her thumb with a little pop, and lets it sit against her skin. She presses the ridges with her nail. It's like shorelines, she says, eyes on the weave. Like the map is on your wrist. Micah presses and counts. 4, 4, 6. The sandwich in front of them is the same sandwich it was a minute ago, but somehow the edges feel less sharp. Riley passes their table on the way to the trash and slows. Nice merch, he says, which is something that could be mean and could be neutral and is, right now, testing. He flicks his hair out of his eyes. I heard the principal's making everyone baby this kid. Asha sets her elbow on the table without looking up. I heard the principal's making everyone learn, she says, and takes a bite, and keeps looking at the band. Riley swallows whatever sentence was walking toward his tongue. Whatever, he says, and it comes out thinner than he wanted. He moves on. He will circle back later. He always does. People who grew up learning that attention is a kind of food will always come back to the table where the plates look full. At 2:10, the classroom is empty, the air after a day's work. Glue stick caps. A worksheet with a doodle of a castle. A pencil like a bitten bone. Mr. Hale sits at one student desk because he doesn't want to be the tallest person in the room right now. Dr. Rivera sits at the next desk over, which makes them look like two students waiting for the bell. Micah and Asha perch on the back row like audience members you forgot were invited. This is coaching, Dr. Rivera says, naming it so it cannot be something else. Not a trial. Mr. Hale nods. His shoulders are lower than they were at 8 a.m. He looks like a person who held up a heavy thing too long and finally put it down. I watched the clip, he says, and his voice carries the weight of the watching. I see the hand that is mine and the hand that is Micah's, and I see the part of the story that isn't there. I hear my own voice in my head, and I don't like it. He opens a notebook and writes a single line before he says anything else. He writes it slowly, like a punishment he believes in. Accommodations are learning tools. He underlines learning. Then he underlines tools. I thought I was building independence, he says. I was building a wall. He looks directly at Micah. I'm sorry. I won't do that again. Micah types, fingers pressing a little harder than needed. Thank you for saying it here and not in front of everyone. Mr. Hale nods, grateful for the gift of that sentence. We're going to set 3 observable goals, Dr. Rivera says. He writes on a sticky note, green, square, the size of a matchbox. 1. Supports posted and used every period. 2. Wait time after questions, minimum 6 seconds. He holds up another note, smaller. 3. Exit tickets offer 2 response modes, voice or tablet. He sticks the notes on the edge of the laminated card. The card looks like an altar now, with small green offerings. And I'll sit with Ms. Cho, Mr. Hale adds before anyone prompts him. Tomorrow, period 4. I'll watch. Then I'll try one thing. Then I'll watch again. Rehearse out loud, Dr. Rivera says. The sentence you'll use when the bell rings and a student reaches for headphones. Mr. Hale inhales. He doesn't improvise. He speaks from the card. Headphones are a tool. Use them if you need them, he says. He says it once, then again, building the muscle out loud. We'll pause, breathe, and keep thinking, he adds, and that line is his own. He lets it sit between his teeth like something to learn the taste of. Good, Dr. Rivera says. He glances at Micah. Anything you want to add? Micah types, say my name before the direction. Not after. It helps my brain aim at you. Mr. Hale writes it down. He draws a little arrow from Micah to direction. Thank you, he says, and he means it in a way that will pay rent tomorrow and the next day. Asha swings one leg and grins at the ceiling tiles. Can we also make the peer rhythm tap official, she asks. Like, if Riley taps it, no one gets mad? We will celebrate it, Dr. Rivera says, and Asha laughs because the word celebrate doesn't get used enough in rooms like this. They set a time for a quick check-in the next morning, the kind that takes 4 minutes and saves 40. They stand. Chairs scrape. The room feels different. Like it got a new window even though all the windows are the same. As they're about to leave, Mr. Hale notices the Chromebook with the closed lid. He looks at it the way you look at a mirror you don't want to look at. "Can we," he starts, and then stops. "Can we address the clip before it addresses us?" "We will," Dr. Rivera says. "We'll send a staff message that says context matters. We'll remind folks that passing clips without asking questions is how lies get dressed like truth." He tucks the green notes deeper into the card. "And we will narrate the repair, not the failure." Mr. Hale lets out a breath he didn't know he was holding. Asha plucks a stray glue stick cap off the floor and sets it on the desk like she's returning a crown to a place it belongs. Micah touches the blue bracelet. The ridges press back. 4, 4, 6. After school, a small thing happens that no camera will ever catch and no staff chat will ever share. On the way to the bus, Riley stops by the library door and stares in at the calm corner. Beanbags, a basket of books with cracked spines, a poster with a list of numbers and the words "Count with me." Ms. Cho is inside, taping the corner of a sign that fell. She sees him at the doorway and doesn't call him out for hovering. She finishes the tape, presses it with a firm palm, and only then says, "Want to try the chair everyone pretends they don't love?" Riley shrugs in a way that means yes but wants it to look like no. He steps in. He sits. He looks around like someone sitting in a church for the first time when they only came to get out of the rain. "What's with the bracelets?" he asks, nudging a basket with his foot. "Ridges help some brains focus," Ms. Cho says. "Some people need help. Some people need the idea that help exists." He rolls the blue band over his knuckles. "Can I take one?" "That's why they're in a basket," she says, and he nearly laughs because of course that's what she'd say. He slides the band on and presses the ridges hard enough to feel them later. He doesn't know why he's doing it. He only knows that the hallway feels better after. He won't tell anyone he took it. But tomorrow, when the PA coughs and the room tightens, he will tap the rhythm with the same hands he uses to fidget and to shove and to make jokes too sharp for their age. He will tap without looking at anyone. And no one will call it helping too much. They will call it what it is, being a person. The sun slants. The building empties. Dr. Rivera finally sits alone in his office and pulls the 2 tiny notes from his pocket, the ones he wrote while he was a silhouette in the doorway. On the first, in pencil, 4, 4, 6. On the second, in pen, choice. He places both on his desk beside the laminated copy of the plan. He thinks about the word shock in the title he knows he'll never see but can feel written in the air. The shock isn't the policy. The shock is the adult who chooses to make care visible. He turns off the light, which is more a decision than a flick. In the dark, the poster above the pencil sharpener glows just enough to read. Accommodations are learning tools. The letters look like they were always there. The room looks like it finally believes them. 4th period is the same room with a different heartbeat. The laminated support plan is clipped to the whiteboard. On the sideboard, in purple marker. Headphones available, tablet responses, OK quiet signal equals hand to chest, peer help equals 4, 4, 6. Asha dotted the eyes like little moons. Micah sits 2 rows from the front, blue bracelet hidden in a sleeve, tablet charged. Mr. Hale breathes once, twice, and starts. "Warm up," he says. 2 minutes. Use whatever helps you think. It's a sentence so ordinary that it feels new. The minute hand crawls. The room is steady, until the building isn't. A PA tone hiccups, unexpected, off schedule. A buzz of static and then a spill of cafeteria noise bursts into the feed before someone mutes it. The sound is nothing and too much at once. Micah's shoulders rise. Hands hover. The old script tugs, don't draw attention, don't reach, don't need. Then a new script, thin but real, speaks, use what helps you think. Micah reaches for the headphones. Mr. Hale's hand twitches, old habit, but doesn't move to block. He says the sentence he rehearsed, headphones are a tool. Use them if you need them. We'll pause, breathe, and keep thinking. Asha taps 4, 4, 6. Riley taps it too, eyes down, pretending he's just keeping tempo to a song only he can hear. The door opens. Dr. Rivera steps in, not in a rush, not with a clipboard, but with a folded poster under his arm. Keep your warm-ups on your desk, he says softly. We're going to try something we've been talking about all year. He unfurls the poster and tapes it where accommodations or learning tools hangs. This one reads, "We follow students here." The words are big enough that you can see them from the hallway. No one was expecting an audience. Now they have one. Micah, he says, kneeling so his eyes are below Micah's. Would you be willing to teach us something? Only if you want. Micah blinks. The room tilts a little, the way rooms do when the center of gravity moves. The tablet waits. Fingers move, yes. Dr. Rivera looks to the class. We have a plan written in adult words. We're going to learn it in kid words, with kid hands. He nods at Asha. Partner? Asha's smile is a lighthouse. Obviously. Micah taps the rhythm once, slow. Asha matches. Dr. Rivera counts on his fingers, 4, 4, 6, and the whole class mirrors him, a quiet wave. Micah lifts the headphones, sets them down, and raises a hand to the chest, quiet signal, to show how to ask for space without making sound into a problem. Then Micah types, and Mr. Hale reads aloud, voice steady, "If sound hurts, I use headphones. If words tangle, I write. If I need time, I show my hand." There is a pause, no one rushes. Then the door opens again. Assistant Principal Klein and Ms. Cho step in with 3 teachers from down the hall, drawn by rumor turned into curiosity turned into something like hope. They hover, ready to retreat if the moment scatters. Dr. Rivera doesn't shoo them away. He gestures to the sideboard. Norms are public. Learning is public. Care can be public too. Mr. Hale stands at the front and does the most difficult thing he's had to do all year, which is less. He waits. He chooses not to be the loudest voice in his own room. Then he chooses to speak, and his voice chooses a lower gear. I made a mistake, he says, eyes on Micah, not the adults. I confused sane with fair. I'm sorry. He doesn't add a but. He doesn't add a because. He lets the apology live and work. Micah types, doesn't show it right away, then looks up and nods. The tablet turns outward, thank you for not saying it as a show. Something releases in the room, invisible and specific. Chairs seem to sit lower to the floor. Dr. Rivera turns to the gathered adults. Observation points don't measure this, he says, one hand on the "We Follow Students Here" poster. But this is what this school gets graded on, whether our students can reach what we say we're teaching. He looks back to the class. We're making a small change school-wide. If you need a tool to learn, you don't ask permission to need. You let us know you're using it. A teacher in the doorway whispers, "What about cheating?" Ms. Cho answers without turning. A person using noise control isn't cheating on silence, she says. They're accessing learning. The shock isn't anger. It's recognition that the rules many of them loved were built for the quietest nervous systems and the most predictable days. The shock is also relief. Let's finish our warm-up, Mr. Hale says, lighter. Then I want to see 3 different ways to explain the same fraction problem. Pencils start moving. Micah writes, Asha draws, Riley, to his own surprise, asks for a tablet because he swears he thinks better when he types. No one makes a scene of it. No one keeps a scorecard. The period glides forward until a fire drill bell shrieks with all its usual cruelty. Half the class flinches. Mr. Hale lifts a palm, quiet signal, and the whole room breathes the 4, 4, 6. Headphones scatter gracefully. Micah passes one pair back to a kid behind him who didn't know they'd want them until right now. The drill ends. the work resumes like a river resuming its banks. And that is the climax, though there's no shouted speech and no triumphant music, just a room that looks like the title kept its promise and didn't break the child inside it. CTA number 2, right after the climax. If you've ever seen a moment flipped by empathy, comment respect and tell me the one detail that changed your mind. The last 5 minutes a repair you can point to. Mr. Hale posts tomorrow's supports as part of homework. Asha draws a tiny rhythm icon next to the date on the board. Riley, pretending to be bored, taps 446 on his knee and doesn't look at anyone while he does it. Micah lifts the blue bracelet and presses it once, not because the room is loud, but because the texture now means I have a way. As the bell rings, Dr. Rivera rolls up the extra poster and leaves one behind. Permanent loan, he says. Klein catches him in the hall. Staff message, she asks. He nods. 3 lines. He dictates as they walk. Context before clips. Plans before pride. We follow students here. Klein types, grins. Sending. In the doorway, Mr. Hale thanks the class for teaching him. It isn't a line. It lands. Micah lingers. Can I put the card back on the board tomorrow? He asks on the tablet. You can leave it there, Mr. Hale says. It's part of the room. Micah smiles, small, like a secret finally safe. Asha holds up her wrist. Twins, she says, tapping her blue band to Micah's. The sound is soft and enough. Riley loiters at the door and mutters to no one, see you at lunch, like he's choosing a different kind of attention tomorrow. The hallway swallows the class. The room is quieter than it has been all day, but it's not the quiet of control. It's the quiet of belonging catching its breath. Moral, when we honor the tools a student needs, we don't lower the bar, we finally let them reach it. If stories about dignity, inclusion, and real repair matter to you, subscribe, it really helps this channel find the people who care. And drop dignity in the comments so I know you're with us.